Elias just yawned again. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I don't.
The camera sees you.
People yawn when their brain needs oxygen, so apparently I wasn't breathing enough.
Man, I learned something new today.
I'm not tired right now. I know that.
Hey, welcome back to the Behind the Well Show. I'm your host, Roger Abel, here with Elias Randall. Eli, I think the big news is I don't think inflation's going away very soon.
Ooh, ouch.
Ouchie.
Poke in the eye.
One of our customers and ex-advisors that is out in the state of, I think, Washington now, we had this talk about 2 or 3 months ago. You know, she was in the business in the 80s. And I said, you know, it's ironic. Everybody thinks inflation's just going to go away in 18 months. It was here for a decade before. And a lot of the most recent data that the Fed's been getting is, you know, re-ingraining that, hey, maybe inflation might be here for longer. And the rate cuts that, you know, the market has thought we're going to get, we may not get as fast or as soon as the market might like.
And it's probably, which people have been talking about that. And I think historically, you know, people talk about the 70s and what was one of the mistakes that was made. They cut rates too early. And so it would be probably painful to make the same mistake, right? When you have the kind of the historical data to show that that did not work. And the other side of it is, in this business, inflation it really just burns a hole in people. And for us, it's when the inflation is bad, it's really on customers' mind. That's what they're talking about. It's what they're thinking about. You know, and then you go grocery shopping. So it's for us, it's painful because we're going through it too, right? But then it's also, to me, that's sometimes inflation is a more a topic that's more painful than even market volatility sometime for some clients.
Well, they see inflation every week at the grocery store. They see inflation in their everyday life. So it does become a pain point. In fact, I think last week's podcast, there is I don't remember who did the study. Someone who did a study said, hey, what are the things you're most concerned about? The number one thing, 60% of the people were concerned about inflation.
Yeah, it's everyone. It's at the gas pump. It's at the grocery store. It's just such a constant thing in life. And I think a lot of people have talked about how it's going to be harder, right? Like to get inflation down from 9 was kind of the easy thing. But now the balancing act of going from where we're at to the 2% target is going to be the challenge. And I don't know, you can read different reports, talk to different people. I don't know that anyone knows the answer of what's the Federal Reserve going to have to do to get back to target. We'll certainly see. But
I think it's a very interesting time too, because one of the places we have seen one of the very most inflation is in housing. And we've said for a long time that, you know, inflation easing doesn't mean prices come down. That would actually be deflation. It was just prices leveling off. But we're still seeing the rising price of homes. And I think we're in a very interesting spot with the housing market because we have this vast majority of individuals are locked into a 2.5% to 3.5% mortgage. And even though they'd like to sell, they now can't afford to sell and move up to the new house with the increased cost, as well as, you know, a 6+% interest rate. There's an article on CNBC that said now in 550 cities in America, $1 million house is typical. Think about that. Before, $1 million house was only for the wealthy. Now it's typical.
That is crazy.
So, you know, I'm down at I enjoy Lake of the Ozarks. Average home sales price at Lake of the Ozarks, $723,000. That includes the lake and the non-lakefront property. $723,000 is the average home selling price last year.
And that area, as nice as it is, does not make this list of 550 cities where the typical home is $1 million.
Typical home.
And that's a really nice area of the Midwest. That's, wow. I'm glad I already own a home. I'll say that.
I mean, I guarantee you it's a challenge for new home buyers to get their foot in. Think about it. If you're a new home buyer, I remember the starter home we were looking at, this is 20 years ago, $125,000. You know, what do you get for $125,000 today? A garage?
I can remember a time in my life where I thought I'll never be able to afford $150,000 house.
Now the starting is like,
but that doesn't get you anything now.
It's probably a starter home is probably like $250 now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean,
yeah.
And then not only that, but you have all of the people still want the same priced house because people just haven't come to the fact that I'm going to spend $3 and $4 and $5 and $100,000 or $1 million on a house. So I think this is going to be one of the challenges for us as a society is what happens with this, because there's not that wages have not doubled in 5 years, but real estate prices arguably I don't know if they've doubled, but man, they got to be close. They're up 70%. If you were making $100,000 7 years ago, are you making $170 today? No way.
Probably not everyone. Yeah. Well, one of my questions, let's say you're somewhere and you already own a home. So even just to sell what you have to buy a bigger home, right? You're in your starter home and now you want to sell that one and get one a little bit bigger and a little bit nicer. It's really almost unaffordable for a lot of people. And even if you say, okay, maybe it's a different location, same size home, but it's going to be way more expensive than the home you bought in 2015 or 2016, whenever, or any time previously.
Probably close to double.
So there's really not a whole lot of, this is broad, right? Painting a broad stroke, but there's really not a whole lot of incentive to sell a house right now and try to move up into a bigger house, or even a lateral move from just a house same size in a different neighborhood. There's just not a lot of incentive to do it for people.
A lateral move with where interest rates are today, about 7%. That's where they are today. They might even be a little higher. The 10-year just clicked over almost to 4.6% again, the 10-year yield. It's probably double the payment for the same price house.
Yeah.
And remember, guess what else has doubled? Insurance. Your taxes went up. Everything's went up. So now you're talking about just doing a lateral move. How many people are doing a lateral move and doubling their payment?
Plenty.
I don't think anybody's doing a lateral move. I don't think people are going to say, yeah, let's just move to a new neighborhood, same price house, so we can double our payment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, nobody's going to do that.
So you know what I saw the other day, and we were driving down the road, and I made a joke, but it was a small pull-behind camper that it's just enough room that there's probably a bed, an area to make some food, and a toilet. And I go, that's our next home. It's what we can afford now.
And it was probably $90,000.
Oh, I'm sure. For one room on wheels, it probably was $90,000.
At least that's a toilet in it.
But there was two of them going down the road. So it's probably a friend group or something. So I told Maddie, well, we can get two. I'll have one and you'll have one.
What was her response to that?
No, that's not happening.
What, the kids are probably like, yeah, Dad, that sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah, of course. They thought it sounded cool.
I don't know. Nellie probably didn't think that. Press was like, yeah, Dad, let's do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Nellie doesn't think I'm cool anymore, so that's out the window.
She 9?
Yeah, third grade. I'm not cool anymore. I'm just a dad now.
Well, I think one of the things, too, that we're seeing, and I have to believe some of the next topic I'm going to talk about is related to the increase in prices, but a lot of people are starting to do a semi-retirement. Instead of just calling it quits, they're semi-retiring or phasing into retirement. And I would say in the last 2 years, I've had more families that I've worked with who actually have said, hey, this is really what I want to do. I don't want to quit working, but I'd like to quit working the job that I've done for 25 or 30 years to set myself and my family up for retirement and go do what I want for 4 or 5 years in retirement. And I think a lot of it, they don't know what they're going to do with their time, and they're fearful to not have anything to do.
I agree with that. You find that a lot with people, and people just typically like to have something going on. And it can be, what are the part-time jobs a lot of, call it semi-retired people have? Maybe one of the ones I've found that I think is pretty cool is the car dealerships that you can drive people around.
I got a guy in Columbia. He goes, I've already got the job lined up when I retire. They're going to let me drive cars. And it's the Mercedes-Benz dealership.
Nice.
So he's like, this is going to be awesome. He goes, I'm going to get to drive these awesome cars and deliver these cars. Like, he is so excited about it. And it's weekly on his terms. So if I don't want to drive, I just tell him. Makes his own schedule.
Perfect. Yeah, or coffee shop type stuff, working at a golf course, whatever it may be. But there's a lot of things you can do, and some people, they like to do it to supplement their income, whether they need to or not. But there's a lot of people who do just enjoy continuing to work, and that's fine.
So Fidelity actually came out with a study and showed not only is it more popular today, but I believe this is going to become even more popular in the future based upon the study. But the study found that 66% of Gen Z and millennials prefer a phased retirement. 57% of everybody surveyed plan to work part-time in retirement. So 2 things I think are happening. One, people are figuring out that, hey, I don't really know what I'm going to do. But I think the second thing is there's been a massive shift in how people have their retirement funded. And I have to believe this is part of it. Up until 20 years ago, almost every single person retired with a pension. Those are gone. We are coming into the first, what I would say, massive subset of people that don't have a significant pension. Some people had a pension, because they worked a job and it was froze 15 years ago or 20 years ago. So it's small, but it's not going to be their biggest retirement savings amount. And my guess is when 57% of the people tell us that I plan on working at some level in retirement, they actually feel really unprepared.
And one of the reasons it seems that comes up a lot for why people come to work with us is they don't understand how this total what am I saying, bucket of money or whatever, just I have this money saved, but how does this become income? A lot of people really don't just conceptually probably understand the investments and the things designed to do that. But what people do understand, and remember on our radio show a couple weeks ago, we had a segment about pensions are maybe going to make a comeback. There's some larger companies that are going to bring back.
IBM is bringing the pension back.
Yeah,
they're stopping the 401k match and going to allocate those money to a pension. Well, 2 things happen. Employee security, but number 2, employees don't have to figure out retirement.
Right, and the other thing, and we've done a great job of simplifying people's retirement income through our Premier Bucket strategy, right? But what's easier to understand? The Premier Bucket strategy, which has 3 or 4 buckets essentially depending on the situation, or here's your monthly check for the next 30 years. The pension's still easier to understand and probably feels more secure. I just know that income's coming in all the time.
You know the ironic thing about a pension? People like the sound of a pension.
Sounds nice. Sounds comfortable.
Pension's an annuity. If you tell someone annuity, it's like a dirty word. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah.
And I'm not pitching product or anything. I'm just saying in general, that's what a pension is. I looked at one the other day. They have a lump sum option to take, and it's a small pension, like $30,000. You're going to get $1,400 a year. I go, well, that's 5.1% distribution rate. It's going to take you 20 years just to get your money out of this thing without interest. But people see that as a good deal. They could just go generate their own and keep access. I mean, for 5% today, you can just go buy a CD.
Well, and it's hard
and not touch the principal. But people still think that it's more safe. It's just so ironic how people view one investment as safe, but this other one may not be, even though it's much better for an individual. I'm not saying pensions are good or bad. I've seen some really good ones. I've seen some crummy ones.
Yeah, I think for us, it's our job to just educate on this is what it is. These are here's the options. These are the pros and cons of each.
Do you know how people should make, outside of just a mathematical decision on a pension? We've seen this happen. People should make a lump sum pension decision, not just upon the mathematics, but they should make it on their understanding of their relationship with money.
I agree with that 100%.
If you're retiring and you have a credit card or you have any debt whatsoever, you just sometimes can't stop spending, and you're offered a lump sum pension or a pension payment, you're likely going to be better off keeping the pension because you never run the risk of actually running out of money.
There are people that if you've never been able to get your spending within reason or under control or have some sort of budget, however you want to call it, you can start to craft an argument that the pension option for you might be the way to go, especially if you've always lived paycheck to paycheck and stuff like that. Well, if you take that lump sum and you just spend it all, now it's worse. There's no more paycheck to paycheck, where at least that pension, like you just said, it's coming every month or however they do it biweekly, however they send the payments.
People need to look at their money and realize what it does. I had this conversation with someone the other day. I said, you didn't save this money for retirement to have a big pot of money. You saved this money for retirement to generate income. That's
Correct.
why you saved it. And if you start to look at your money in that lens, it helps you make some different decisions. And if you spend your pot of money, you have no income. But people don't look at it that way. They've heard so many things that, well, if I take the pension, I don't get the money. Well, if you spend it all, you're not going to have any income. It totally lends itself to good investments. You could put the person in the best investments in the world, had the best returns ever, and they could blow it up. That's why investments, truth be told, performance is the same everywhere. Investments are the same. All the firms sell the same stuff. They do, right? Doesn't matter where you're at. Everybody has access to the same investments outside of private equity or some obscure thing. I could build a guy the best investment portfolio in the world, but if he overspends, he will kill his retirement.
Well, and I think as a firm, we're a lot more concerned with the financial planning, the client's relationship with money, than the investments, right? Any competent investment professional or firm can get you lined up with good products, but what needs to be understood prior to that is the person's relationship with money, what they want to accomplish with their money. Because I've told a lot of people, when you look at the world of investments, it's like going to a restaurant with a 100-page menu. How do you even start to decide what you want, right? So then it's our job to establish a relationship, learn about your relationship with money, and then kind of uncover the path. Okay, here's the path. This is going to get you the outcome you're looking for.
It 100% lends itself to why we don't let people just drop checks off here without doing a plan.
Well, yeah, I know.
I mean, seriously, if someone comes in here for a first meeting, we never make a recommendation on the first meeting.
No, I won't even review someone's. Sometimes, we have people, hey, can you just take a look at this and give me an opinion? And I can give you an opinion of that product. I cannot give it an opinion of how it fits into your picture.
How can you make a good recommendation for somebody until you understand some general knowledge about their situation?
It's not possible.
And general knowledge isn't how much money you have and that. It's more of a little bit of the personal stuff.
Well, if you end up doing that, it's just an opinion of one thing without enough information to have an educated view of what it is.
Okay, it's different. 25-year-old wants to max out a Roth IRA. Okay,
that's easy.
That's easy, but later in life, you have to understand how people work and what's important to them. And as I always tell people, it's our job to put ourselves onto your side of the table, see it from your point of view so we can understand your unique situation. And that's how we give better and more prudent advice to people. That really is the goal of what we do.
Yeah, and that approach is what's going to I've also shared with people, I don't think this should be a decision on the products and all that kind of stuff. It should be a decision on, can you have a long-term relationship, and can we set you up for a successful outcome? Those are the things that you really need to consider.
Are you ready to take control of your financial future? The financial professionals at Premier Investments and Wealth Management are the guides you've been looking for. Picture this, a financial plan tailored exclusively to you. Our team of experienced professionals will work closely with you to understand your aspirations and develop a personalized roadmap to get you there. Whether you're dreaming of retirement, buying a new home, or sending your kids to college, we've got the tools to give you confidence in your financial life. We'll help you navigate saving and investing, retirement income, and tax strategies. Our job is not just about making money. It's about helping our clients make smart choices. We'll provide you with the tools and knowledge to confidently steer your financial ship toward a brighter future. Are you ready to embark on your financial journey with confidence? Visit www.btwealthshow.com or click the link in the description of this podcast. Your financial future awaits.
Elias, we like to listen to Dave Ramsey, and we follow some of his advice, and we believe having debt isn't great for people in most situations. But I thought we could just spend a few minutes going over some of the best Dave Ramsey quotes, or the quotes we think everybody should hear. I'll let you take the first one.
So when we were getting ready to do this, talked about doing these quotes. So to me, Dave Ramsey, not only has he helped you could probably make an argument he's helped more people with money than anyone else in the history of the financial services business. He's also a great person that you can get good, entertaining, funny quotes from. Zingers, yes.
Well,
zingers.
You know why? Because he's actually, if you listen to him, what I like, he's a little unfiltered.
I love that about him.
I mean, he's not crass, but if you're doing something stupid, he's going to tell you. He won't get mad at you, but he's going to let you know that doesn't make any sense.
He will, and there are people that will say, well, his way is not perfect, and there's this, that, and the other thing. Here's the deal. If you do his baby steps exactly the way he talks about, it will work. There's no way it won't work. You have no debt and you saved your money, well, probably going to work out.
Yeah, and the key to that is, for all that to happen, the real key that a lot of people don't talk about, the reason it works is you have to get a handle on where your money's actually going. It really starts with knowing where your money's going. If you know where it's going, it's all pretty easy after that.
Yep. So anyway, we'll dive in here. So the first quote we have, and I think the takeaway from this one is just don't be afraid of your financial situation, of money. And you want to have a balanced approach as well. But someone who never has fun with money misses the point. Someone who never invests money will never have any. And someone who never gives is a monkey with his hand in a bottle. That's a classic. Good job, Dave. But he's right, because it's what we do and what we're in the business of, helping people craft their financial plan, build their wealth, set their family up. We're not in the business of hoarding every penny. That's just not a way to live life. And that's not a healthy relationship with money either. But we are in the business of, let's keep you on track for the things that are important to you. And let's, like he said, you never have fun, you're missing the point. You got to have some fun too. And to build wealth, you are going to have to invest. It can't just be in a coffee can under your bed, right? And then give some away, right? If you've created great wealth for your family, be charitable, help some people out. And I think a lot of people who are those three things I just described, people who are successful with money, what do they all have in common? Probably those three things.
Number 2, a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Well, I mean, most people, if they don't have a budget, they have no idea where it's going. I even think people who do have a budget, most aren't very detailed, and they don't know where it's going until they sit down and get some software like Quicken or really take a look at it. But even for me, I have a loose budget. It all goes to Amazon.
Yeah, I know exactly.
It goes to Amazon.
I know exactly.
I know where it goes.
I know exactly where the money.
Yeah, it's going. Like I was out last night in the boat. And I'm like, man, I need this shutoff switch. Amazon, $34 at my house. So the question is, did I really need it, or I just think at the moment that I needed it? I mean, I do need it, but moderately. But I think the point is, you know, and it's really hard, I think, for people that are between 35 and 50, because typically you have kids. They're in activities. They want to go out to eat. You get the unexpected stuff that's not as easy to plan for as when you were 25 and it was you and your spouse. You guys could plan for dinner. When you're 40 and your kid gets invited to a birthday party, oh, great. Now we got to spring for a gift and we have to do this. And now we're going to do a sleepover. We're going to the skate park. It's harder to plan for that. So I think those ages between 35 and 50 is when you really have to spend more time figuring out where the money's going to go.
You do. And just, we had a birthday party experience recently. Our daughter Nellie was invited to one. The birthday parties have gotten crazy. They had shirts. They made shirts for all the girls that said birthday party squad. So now I'm like, okay, great. Next year, guess what I have to do? Buy shirts for all these kids that come over, because now that's the cool thing to do in their friend group.
So, we had the 11 girls spend the night. Each girl I'll have Molly post a picture, because it was actually really cool, but it was a Pinterest idea.
My kids are not allowed to go to a birthday party at your house.
Pinterest idea. Each girl had their own tent with lights on it, blow-up mattress, pillow, heart pillow, lantern, and a little plastic snack box for their drinks and snacks.
So now you're the proud owner of 11 miniature blow-up mattresses.
Well, we had to order them, in sets of 4, so I have 12.
Are those going on Marketplace? You keep them for next year.
No, we're going to keep them because London will do it. And here's the deal. One of the tents got destroyed. One of the mattresses got popped.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, over 5 years, I'll be down to 0. But to your point, most people aren't planning that expense for a birthday party. And honestly, I didn't keep track of how much it was. And I know it wasn't that much because this is all off of Amazon. It wasn't super expensive stuff, but it adds up.
It does add up. So the third one here from Dave Ramsey, a typical millionaire lives in a middle-class home, drives a 2-year-old car or older paid-for car, and buys blue jeans at Walmart. So I think the point here is spending your money wisely. And the other thing I'll tack onto this, because this one, there are truths to this. I think people that spend wisely and are successful with money, they're intentional about, we call them lifestyle investments, right? Where if you enjoy owning a nice car is not going to stop you from being successful with money, as long as you're doing all the other things right. If owning a beautiful home that's in the nicest neighborhood in town is something you really desire and it's a lifestyle investment, you can do that and accomplish the other things. And I know Roger likes wearing blue jeans from Walmart, so I'm not going to knock on that, but I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I don't even know what to say about that. That's awesome. No.
But and the other, I don't know. I guess
you know what though?
People probably do. I personally buy my pleated slacks from Walmart. That's where I get them.
No, you don't. I know better than that. But you know what? I have no problem with Walmart.
I don't either.
I don't buy clothes there, but
I just think it's funny. It's in this quote.
We have 3 options in this town where to shop for, maybe 4 options where to shop for groceries. If I was going to choose the go-to, it's probably Walmart. Except for
groceries?
Me. Yeah.
Because
they have they have everything. It's not, the price is fine, but there's we have girls with allergies in our house, food allergies. They have all the little niche-y stuff that don't have the allergens, the special, the brands we're looking for. They have everything. I can make one stop. If I go to any of the other stores, I'm going to at least another store to finish out the order.
Multiple stops.
Yeah. And then, oh, by the way, if I need laundry detergent or whatever other stuff is on the list, I can get it all done in one shot. The problem is it's a 5-minute further drive and it's not as nice of an experience, right? There's other grocery stores in town, which is a little bit nicer experience. And I have a good one. I'm in Marion, so, it's a good experience there compared to where you're at.
Try the one on the side of town I live on.
Remember I used to live on that side of town.
Yeah. Yep.
And I used to go on Friday nights for entertainment.
There you go. That says enough.
4, you must gain control over your money or lack of it will forever control you. I mean, it's really like, it's just like getting a budget. Unless you know where it's going and you control it, it's just running your life. And typically it's probably going to run your life in a negative fashion. It's going to lead to debt. It's going to lead to overspending. It's going to lead to really probably a lot of anxiety for most people. When you don't know where your money's going, there has to be an anxious feeling. If you have no idea, man, I got this paycheck, but where is it?
I would think.
And it's typically at Poncheros and Verizon and all the other niceties of life that we don't need, but you feel like you need to have a Starbucks coffee every day, or you need to go out to lunch every single day. You know, that's an interesting topic. I see one person in this office bring lunch in.
Oh, several people here bring lunch.
Do you bring lunch?
I skip. I don't eat lunch.
Yeah, I don't eat lunch either.
I skip lunch most. I have breakfast. I typically don't eat lunch, and I have dinner.
I know people that go out to lunch every single day. Every day.
Lifestyle investment.
I mean, lunch?
Yeah,
I mean, that just leads to a nap. It's not like this
Correct.
is a 3 martini lunch. It's a lunch. It's like they're going to getting fried food at lunch every day. And it's not like fast food. It's like a restaurant, a bar or whatever.
Fun.
I mean, I'm sure it is fun.
Sounds fun. I don't know. I think we have several people. Well,
Chase does.
Chase brings lunch. I think D.
But I don't know
does.
how many people actually eat lunch. Like, I never eat lunch. The only time I eat lunch is if someone invites me out to lunch.
And the only time I eat lunch is if you invite me to go with. When you get invited.
When I've got the card.
Yeah. Okay. Next, Dave Ramsey quote. This is a real nice one too. Winning at money is 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge. What to do isn't the problem. Doing it is. Most of us know what to do, but we just don't do it. This is another classic Dave. He's probably said this 10,000 times over the years, and he's correct. Your successful investors do certain things that other people don't do for whatever reason. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't understand. I feel a lot of times there's a lot of people who need to overcomplicate their situation, or they spend a lot of time. They want the silver bullet of investments, or they want to time the market, do a lot of these silly things that really don't work, where if you have the right behaviors, things are going to work out. And the head knowledge piece, well, our clients have delegated that to our firm. So people who work with Premier, all you got to do is have the habits. You don't have to even know anything. Now, you should understand like what we're trying to help you accomplish. But if you don't want to learn how a mutual fund works or an ETF works, or just you don't want to learn anything, that's not a barrier to be a customer here.
2 takeaways. In life in general, 80% of success is behavior. We all know how to be healthier. We're the most obesest country's ever been. There's more information on how to lose weight. There's more head knowledge on how to be healthy today than ever before. But because people can't control the behavior of doing, X amount of exercise each day and having calories of X and cutting their sugars and lowering their carbohydrates and eating more green vegetables, they don't lose any weight. It's 80% behavior to get there, 20% what you know.
And not grabbing a piece of Easter candy every time you walk by the candy bowl in the kitchen. That's my biggest bad habit right now is that
you got to do
big bowl of Easter candy.
Throw it away.
Actually, typically what we do with our candies, we bring it here. And then
I figured you just saved it for Halloween.
Oh, my gosh.
Here's a second takeaway. You mentioned people trying to outsmart the system, trying to time the market. And this literally just came to me as I was thinking about this. Somebody who thinks they're going to time the market, or someone who thinks they have the hot stock tip. Let's just say that one hot stock tip that you had 20 years ago, you lost $10,000 on. Well, at the time, I was like, okay, maybe you had $500,000 and you lost 10 grand, no big deal. You know what the opportunity cost of losing $10,000 20 years ago was?
I don't, but it matters.
I do, because we did a podcast on it last week. $10,000 in the S&P 500 20 years ago grew to 64,000. So you lost the 64, plus you actually lost the 10. So that great stock tip cost you $75,000.
The great stock tip, yeah.
And it could be anything else. It could be just something silly you did, or you tried to get in and out of the market, or do something that just didn't make any sense. Where just a really simple plan and process. 75,000. That's still a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
And that's could be the cost. So number 6, last one, without a mission statement, you may get to the top of the ladder and realize it was leaning against the wrong building.
Profound.
Well, it's where you have to develop a goal and think things through. So I had a meeting with Molly the other day, and we were talking about some business stuff and how we wanted to do some things. And halfway through, I'm like, if we do it this way, it actually might be detrimental. But if we hadn't walked through the process, and not detrimental to our growth more than anything. And I said, if we do it this way, it looks like on paper today, that's the best thing to do. But then as we talked it through, like long term, it's probably not the best thing to do. And it's where we tried to develop a good strategy and idea of what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, you're trying to avoid climbing the ladder and being on the wrong building.
Dude, I never want to fall down a ladder. Knock on wood, I haven't. You know me, I'm actually scared of ladders. You helped paint a place of mine. I didn't get on a ladder. 3 feet's about my limit.
Yeah, I did not realize that or notice you didn't get on any ladders, but
like 3 feet. I don't get on ladders. Like in my garage ceilings are 12 feet. So I have a 10-foot ladder, but I do that so I don't have to go to the top of the ladder. I only need to get up there like to
that's
the
safe.
fourth ring.
That's what you should do.
Well, but
you shouldn't have an 8-foot ladder for a 12. You should have a 10-foot ladder.
So I don't know if I ever told you this, but when Brad painted the last project for us, the ceilings were like 23 feet tall.
Yeah,
they were really tall. He called me one night. He has scaffolding going from 18 feet high, but his ladder wasn't tall enough to get to the top, so he put like 4 6x12 foot boards, put a ladder on top, and climbed up on like a wood bending scaffolding. He calls me. He goes, if you don't get a call from me by 10:30, send the troops. I never could have done it.
There was some.
That was pretty sketch.
There was some not OSHA approved aspects to that project, but no one got hurt.
I'll never forget. He goes,
a good thing OSHA didn't stop by to inspect the job site.
He called me. He goes, if I don't call you by 10:30, send the cavalry. Because it was over the stairs, so it wasn't just. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It wasn't just.
It was scary up there.
You notice I didn't get up there.
I did.
Oh. Well, the last thing we're going to do is, as always, on every segment we're doing this year, we challenge one piece of blanket advice. 2024 is our year of personalized advice. Today, we're going to challenge some TikTok savings threads. And this is great because people who are getting their information from TikTok, it's ironic. Most of these people have no idea about anything about money. I actually watched some YouTube. I woke up this morning at like 3, and I watched some guy doing a reaction video to a bunch of TikTok and different videos. And it was a successful business guy. He's like, dude, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. But a couple of the big ones that are trending now is the 100 envelope challenge, cash stuffing, or the no spend challenge. And, I think anybody who has anybody thinks that if I have a problem with money, I go to TikTok or YouTube and they'll tell me how to fix it. Here's the problem. These are all trends and fads. They're all going to go away. Do you remember the video? This must have been 2021. The guy telling you how to trade options on TikTok, or it was like how to take $1 and turn it into $1 million by the end of the year. And that was all the fad, or all these TikTok videos about how to get rich quick. How to get rich quick.
I do remember.
I haven't seen any anymore. It's all real estate now.
It's all a bunch of garbage anyway. If anyone ever would say something to me, well, I learned about this trading strategy on TikTok, that just immediately goes to that doesn't sound real to me. That doesn't sound like you learned that at a place that would be qualified to really teach you something.
So
maybe I'm too old-fashioned for that.
Elias, I've gotten so good at figuring out what media people are on. Like when they come in here, I can tell they're watching.
By the questions?
By the questions they ask me, I know what they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
They start talking about gold and silver, I know they're on YouTube. If they're talking about stuff like this no spend challenge, all this stuff, I know it's TikTok. Like I can figure it out. I go, you've been watching a lot of YouTube. Oh yeah, okay. I know where you're getting it.
Yeah, and the YouTube and the TikTok rabbit hole, great for entertainment, not necessarily great for your personal goals and your financial goals and, just how to really be successful.
So a lot of them, some of them actually make sense, right? But here's the problem with these. Number one, they're typically short term. Number two, what works for one person doesn't typically work for another, right? And these are all like the no spend challenge. They're all kind of limiting lifestyle. That's what some of the new trends are all about is, hey, how do we save as much? Because I feel like people...
I don't want to do it just because it's called the no spend challenge. That sounds terrible.
You know why people are doing it? Why they're doing it? Because people are broke. They racked up their credit cards because we live the YOLO lifestyles, and now we got to live the no spend lifestyle. But
I YOLO'd so much, I just have to quit.
That's
YOLOing.
Exactly what Elias, 2 years
great.
ago on TikTok, nobody was doing a YOLO lifestyle. Everybody now is doing the no spend lifestyle. They're out of money. 100%.
Yeah, just YOLO yourself until you can't spend $1.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
That's exactly what they do. So, like all things on social media, not all of the expert advice you see is really true and probably doesn't fit your financial situation. It's why we encourage people to come in here, try to sit down with us, put together a unique plan for yourself. If you're looking to get started on a plan, you can click the link in the description, or you can go to btwellshow.com, click Get Started. We'll get you going in the right direction. If you're not following us on social media, I encourage you to do that. Elias, do you have any other takeaways for today's show?
Thank you for listening, everyone. We appreciate it.